Hi guys! Today we're making pumpkin rolls. They are similar to the gooey cinnamon buns that I posted before, but with the lovely autumn flavor of pumpkin. This recipe is a bit healthier than the cinnamon buns with the addition of pumpkin puree, but just a little bit healthier. I always find baking a lot easier when I have all the ingredients measured and set out beforehand. Check out the description below for all the ingredients and the amounts. Start by mixing a cup of warm plant milk, such as soy, with a couple tablespoons of sugar and 2 teaspoons and a quarter of traditional or instant yeast. If you use traditional yeast, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes to proof before continuing to the next step, which is adding your pumpkin puree. I simply used the cooked canned stuff, but feel free to cook your own from scratch. Then mix that in thoroughly until there are no lumps left. Now we can add our flour, a little bit at a time. I like to add a cup of flour, mix it in, and then add some more and repeat. That way I can use as little flour as possible to create the dough, resulting in a lighter texture. The amount of flour you'll need may vary slightly, depending on how dry the air is and how wet your pumpkin puree was to begin with. You want the dough to be soft but only slightly sticky so you can work with it. I used a total of about 3½ cups of all-purpose white flour. If you decide to use whole wheat flour, you'll end up using about a quarter less in volume as the whole wheat will absorb more moisture. Now the dough is ready to be kneaded. I'm dusting more flour on top so that it doesn't stick to my hands too much, and just knead by folding an edge to the middle and pressing down with the heel of your hand. I actually took this off camera to knead on a sturdy counter for a couple of minutes. Then cover the dough to let it rise for 45 minutes to an hour until it's doubled in size. In the meantime, we can prepare the filling for the pumpkin rolls. Simply combine some pumpkin puree with brown sugar and cinnamon. I actually forgot about the dough, so it rose a little more than we wanted, but it's totally fine. Just dust it with flour so it doesn't stick too much when you punch it down and gather it up into a ball. Now we can knead it just a little bit to get it into a rough rectangular shape and roll it out. Roll it to a 1/2 inch thickness or about 1¼ centimeter thick. Make it longer on one side, so mine ended up to be about 20 inches long, but that doesn't have to be exact. Spread the pumpkin mixture in a thin layer all over the top of the dough, leaving a strip uncovered along the long side farthest from you. Now we can roll it up. Start from the long side closest to you and fold the edge in. Then you can work up and down the roll to roll it up evenly. Let it sit on the seam while we make the goo for these rolls that will make the bottom sticky. If you don't want the pumpkin rolls to be sticky and you want to keep the fat content low, you can leave this step out. Combine some brown sugar with brown rice syrup and a tablespoon of vegan butter. I used Earth Balanced buttery spread as usual. Nuke it in the microwave for about 20 seconds and stir it up. Cut the roll into 1½ inch sections, which is just under 4 centimeters. I used a sharp serrated knife using a back and forth motion to prevent any unwanted squishing. Once you have all your rolls cut up, pour the syrup mixture into a pan prepared with parchment paper. I'm using 2 10 by 7 inch pans, but feel free to use whatever you have. Then place the rolls into the pans, leaving about 1 inch or 2 between each one so they have room to expand. Then cover them with a damp cloth and let them rise for a ½ hour in a warm place or until they are all puffed up, like this. Bake them in a preheated oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 to 20 minutes. They will be a bit browned on the top, but not too much. The bottoms will be slightly caramelized, which adds a nice chewy stickiness to the otherwise soft and fluffy buns. And that's it! Soft pumpkin cinnamon rolls that are not too sweet. They freeze well too, just wrap them up before you do. To thaw, just leave them at room temperature for a couple of hours or nuke them in the microwave at 20-second intervals. Just don't overdo it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye for now!